Deep in the woods, far from the nearest road, there stands a house that no one dares to enter. For decades it has been left to rot, its roof sagging under the weight of time, its windows shattered, its doors hanging open as if inviting, but also warning anyone who might step closer. Locals whisper about it in hushed voices, telling stories they themselves claim not to believe, but their eyes betray their fear. They call it simply the House in the Woods, and its story is one of the most chilling unsolved mysteries of the last century. The house wasn't always abandoned. Long ago, in the early 20th century, it was alive with laughter and warmth. Built by a wealthy timber merchant, it was meant to be a retreat, a family home surrounded by nature, a place where the world's troubles could not reach. For the first few years, it seemed exactly that. But over time, things began to change. Strange things. Things that drove one family after another to leave until eventually, no one came back. The first known family to occupy the house was the Thompsons, sometime in the 1920s. They were outsiders in the small rural community, but they seemed kind enough. Neighbors said they would wave politely from the road, though they seldom invited anyone inside. The family lasted less than 3 years. One winter, they packed up their belongings and disappeared overnight, leaving food in the pantry, clothes in the closets, and furniture exactly where it had always been. When asked why, Mr. Thompson would only say, "The house doesn't want us here." Decades later, other families tried their luck. Each time, the same pattern repeated. At first, everything seemed fine. Then, the noises would begin. Footsteps in the upstairs hallway when no one was there. Whispers through the walls late at night. Windows opening on their own. Doors locking from the inside. The smell of smoke with no fire. Families left in the dead of night, taking only what they could carry. And always, they warned others never to go back. By the 1970s, the house was completely abandoned. No one wanted to live there. But the real legend began when the Carter family moved in during the summer of 1974. They were new to town, unaware, or perhaps dismissive, of the warnings. With 2 young children, they wanted a quiet life in the countryside. For the first few weeks, neighbors recalled the family seeming happy. The children played in the yard. The mother tended to the small garden. The father worked odd jobs in town. It looked like the curse of the house might finally have been broken. But then the rumors began again. A farmer living half a mile down the road swore he saw lights flickering in the upstairs windows late at night, though the family had gone to bed hours earlier. Another neighbor claimed she heard shouting, though the house was far too distant for ordinary voices to carry. And then, one evening, the Carters stopped showing up altogether. Days passed before anyone went to check. When a relative arrived, the house was silent. The front door was unlocked. Inside, the dining table was set for 4. Dinner plates sat untouched, glasses half full. A single candle burned down to the wick. But the family was gone. Police were called. They scoured every room, every inch of the surrounding forest. No signs of struggle, no footprints, no broken glass, no blood. It was as if the Carters had simply vanished into thin air. The only unusual item was a small notebook lying open on the kitchen table. Its final page contained a chilling message, written in a shaky hand. "They are watching us." That was the last anyone ever saw of the Carter family. The investigation dragged on for months, but no leads emerged. Detectives grew frustrated, Locals grew terrified, and soon the case went cold. The Carter disappearance was added to the long list of unsolved mysteries, and the house was left alone once more. But it didn't stay quiet for long. Teenagers began sneaking into the abandoned property, daring each other to spend the night inside. Most left within minutes, claiming to hear footsteps behind them, whispers calling their names, or doors slamming shut even though no wind blew. Some swore they saw figures at the windows. One boy claimed he looked into the upstairs mirror and saw not his own reflection, but a pale, gaunt face staring back at him. In the late 1980s, a team of amateur paranormal investigators visited the site. They brought cameras, recorders, and infrared sensors. What they captured still circulates in whispers on old VHS tapes and online forums today. Doors opening on their own, sudden drops in temperature, a voice, faint but clear enough to be understood, whispering, "Get out." The team left before dawn, shaken, and refused to return. Over the years, the house has drawn ghost hunters, journalists, thrill seekers, and skeptics. Some came out laughing, declaring it all superstition. Others left pale and trembling, refusing to speak of what they had seen. A few never returned at all. Locals say the house seems to change depending on who enters. Some find rooms that others swear don't exist. Some describe the smell of burning wood, though no fire has ever been found. Others claim to hear children laughing upstairs, even though the rooms are empty. And on more than one occasion, visitors say they discovered new writing in the Carter's diary. Pages that should have been blank, now filled with warnings, scrawled in unfamiliar handwriting. The legend grew darker still when stories emerged of people disappearing after visiting the house. Not just the Carters, but wanderers, explorers, strangers passing through. Police reports confirm that at least 3 missing persons were last seen near the woods where the house stands. None were ever found. To this day, the house remains, weathered, decayed, but standing. Its roof collapsed in places, ivy climbing its walls, windows black with dust. Yet on some nights, passers-by insist they see a light flickering in the upstairs room. A candle maybe, or perhaps something else. Some say a shadow moves across the window, pausing to look out into the darkness, watching. Is the house haunted, cursed, a portal to something beyond our understanding? Skeptics argue it's nothing but coincidence and imagination. But believers point to the long history of disappearances, the consistency of the stories, and the diary left behind by the Carters. They are watching us. Who or what was watching? The truth may never be known. What is certain is this: no one in the nearby village will go near the property. The forest has grown thick around it, the path nearly lost to time. But the house is still there, waiting, silent, watching. And if you ever find yourself wandering those woods and you see a broken silhouette rising from the trees, will you dare to step closer? Will you look through the cracked windows into the darkness within, or will you turn back before the door creaks open and something inside looks back at you? Because once you see the house sees you.